Hello, welcome to the class of Microwave Engineering. Today we are going to discuss directional coupler, which is a very important topic of the microwave components. Right? First thing, what is the use of directional coupler? So, the directional coupler is used to sample a small amount of power for the measurement purpose. Right? If we want to know how much amount of power is being transmitted from a particular port, then there is a measure of a power. So to measure that particular power, we will use directional coupler. Right? A directional coupler are flanged built-in waveguide assembly which can sample a small amount of power. Right? The purpose of directional coupler is not only to sample the small amount of power, rather we can also use the directional coupler for the measurement of incident power, for the measurement of reflected power, for the measurement of standing wave ratio, etc. So this is the very important device for the microwave components, right? So moving towards the next slide, which will shows how a directional coupler is built. Right? The directional coupler is generally a 4-port device. That means the most commonly used directional coupler are a 4-port device which is used to sample a power. That's why it is also known as a power divider microwave device. Right? And depending on the sampling or depending on the measurement of the power, the directional coupler are categorized into two types. One is known as a unidirectional and second is known as a bidirectional. Right? In unidirectional, the power is measured only the incident power. That means whatever the power we are inputting at the particular port, that power, when we will measure that particular power, then that particular device is known as a unidirectional. If we measure the incident power as well as reflected power, then that particular directional coupler is known as a bidirectional directional coupler. Right? This is the simple systematic diagram of the directional coupler. From the diagram, as we are seeing that directional coupler is a 4-port microwave junction which has a 2 waveguides, right? Which has a 2 waveguide. One is known as a primary waveguide. Primary waveguide consists of a 2-port, port number 1 and port number 2, and the second one is known as a secondary waveguide, right? Which is consist of port number 3 and port number 4. The primary waveguide is also known as a main waveguide. So there is no any difference between the primary waveguide and the main waveguide, and there is no any difference between the secondary waveguide and auxiliary waveguide. So auxiliary waveguide and secondary waveguide both are the same. Similarly, primary waveguide and main waveguide both are the same, right? Let us assume that all ports of the directional coupler, that means port number 1, port number 2, port number 3 and port number 4, all are perfectly matched to the junction impedance of the directional coupler, or we can say it is well matched to the characteristic impedance of the directional coupler. So there will be no any reflection of the power when the power is reaching at the output terminal, right? Let us assume a power is transmitted from port number 1 to port number 2, right? The power is transmitted from port number 1 to port number 2 is coupled to the port number 4 but not to the port number 3, right? So we can say when the power is inputted at port number 1, it will be known as the input incident power. When it will reach out at port number 2, then it will be known as a received power. The power which are traveling from port number 1 to port number 2 is coupled by someone called known as coupling holes to sample a small amount of power. So when the coupled power is reaching at port number 4 in the same direction as the received power is received by the port number 2, it is known as a coupled power. and the power which are coming out of port number 3 is known as a back power. The amount of back power is ideally zero, but practically a very small amount of power which is negligible. So we can say this is nothing but your almost zero. So we can say when any signal is inputted at port number 1, then no any signal will come out at port number 3. So we can say port number 1 and port number 3 are isolated ports, because when we will input a particular power at port number 3, then no any power will come out at port number 1, because in this case when we will input power at port number 3, the power come out at port number 1 is known as a back power, right? This is the case of unidirectional. That means when we are considering the power is transmitting only from port number 1 to port number 2 and coupled to the port number 4, this is the case of your unidirectional coupler. But when we are dealing with the bidirectional coupler, that means in that particular case we will apply a power from port number 1 as well as at the port number 2. So the operation will be the reverse. That means when any power is applied at port number 2, then then it will be when any signal is applied at port number 2. So we can say I'm just using highlighter. Yeah, when any signal is coming from port number 2 to port number 1 is coupled to the port number 3 but not to the port number 4. That means power will come out at port number 1 will be known as a PR, right? This will be known as a PR. The power which will be inputted at port number 2 is known as a PI or incident power. The power which is coupled at port number 3 will be known as a forwarded power or coupled power. This will be known as a PM, right? So in the case of bidirectional coupler, we will consider at one time the signal is appearing at port number 1 traveling to the port number 2, and in the second case we will consider that a signal will appear at port number 2 and traveling towards the port number 1, right? When we will appear a signal at port number 2, so the power coming out of port number 4, that will be known as a back power, and back power is defined by the PB, right? So as we have discussed earlier, the back power is ideally zero and practically a very small value. So we can say again port number 2 and port number 4 are isolated port. That means when any signal is appeared at port number 2, then no any signal will come out at port number 4. When any signal appear at port number 2, then no any signal will come out at port number 2. That means both ports are isolated port. Similarly, we can say these particular ports 1 and 3 and this particular port 2 and 4 both are known as an isolated port. Clear? This is the diagram of the directional coupler, and this is the signal diagram of a directional coupler, how the signal is being transmitted. So as we have discussed earlier, the power traveling from the port number 1 to port number 2, right, is coupled to the port number 4 via a coupling hole, right? And this particular coupling hole, a small amount of power will come out at port number 3. So the power which is inputted at port number 1 will be known as this one, wrongly written, this is known as the incident power. This one, this is the input power, this is the received power PR, right? This is your PF, yani forwarded power or coupled power. This is your PB, that means the back power, right? To check the performance of the directional coupler, there are some factors which is very frequently used to discuss the or to judge the performance of directional coupler, right? And that one is known as a coupling factor, directivity and isolation factor. So what is the coupling factor? Before starting the coupling factor, we are using here PI that stands for the input incident power, PF stands for the forwarded power, PB stands for the back power, right? So we can say coupling factor is defined as the ratio of incident power to the forwarded power. That means whatever power is incident at particular port or input port and whatever power is sampled, the ratio of these two powers is known as a coupling factor, and the coupling factor is defined in the terms of dB, right? So the formula to calculate the coupling factor is 10 log 10 pi over pf, right? And second term is known as a directivity, right? So what do you mean by the directivity? It is defined as the ratio of back power, forwarded power to the back power. This is the ratio. This is ratio of the forwarded power to the back power, right? It is also measured in the terms of dB, and it is also given by the 10 log 10 pf upon pb. In other words, we can say coupling factor measures how much of the incident power is being sampled. That is defined as the coupling factor, while the directivity is a measure of how well the directional coupler distinguishes between the forward and reverse traveling powers. That means this parameter differentiates the efficiency of the directional coupler, that the distinguishes how the directional coupler is distinguishes between the forward power and back power, right? So we can say these two are the very important parameters. And last one is known as the isolation factor. Isolation factor is defined as the input power to the back power, right? This is known as a back power and this is known as the input power. It is also defined in the terms of dB, but as we know that the back power is very small, so we can say the isolation factor is also known as a coupling factor plus directivity, right? How we will get? Simply we are using 10 log pi divided by pf multiply by pf upon pb, right? So we can write the isolation factor in this formula, right? Since we are seeing that this is nothing but a formula of log m cross n is equal to log m plus log m, so when we will simplify this equation, we will get 10 log 10 pi over pf and 10 log 10 pf upon pb, which is nothing but your coupling factor and directivity. So we can say isolation factor is equal to the coupling factor plus the directivity, right? Now, types of the directional coupler. As we know that the directional coupler is used to take a sample of the incident power. For the sampling purpose, there is a coupling holes through which a received power or traveling power is sampled to the another port, right? So depending on the number of that particular coupling holes, we can classify the directional coupler. If there is a single coupling hole, then this is known as a single hole directional coupler. This will be known as single hole directional coupler, or it is also known as a Beath hole directional coupler. So either we will say single hole directional coupler, or we are saying that it is a Beath hole directional coupler. Both are the same, right? If the coupling holes are two and both the coupling holes are separated by an electrical path length, then that particular directional coupler is known as a two-hole directional coupler, because for sampling the power there are two holes, right? And this is the most commonly used directional coupler. Clear? And if a directional coupler have more than two holes, then it is known as a multi-hole directional coupler. In our laboratories, we have multi-hole directional coupler, which is known as a MHD. MHD stands for the multi-hole directional coupler, right? So we can say depending on the coupling holes, directional couplers are classified in three categories: single hole, two hole, and multiple directional coupler. In these three, the two hole directional coupler are very important. So we will discuss the operation of two hole directional coupler with the help of diagram. So this is the diagram of a two hole directional coupler, right? The two hole directional coupler consists of a two waveguide. One is known as a main waveguide and second is known as a auxiliary waveguide, right? A coupling hole is available at the common boundary of the main waveguide and auxiliary waveguide. Since we are seeing that this is a common boundary or the common wall, right? In the common wall there are the two holes, hole number 1 and hole number 2. That's why it is known as a two hole directional coupler. If these holes are more than 2, then it will be known as a multi-hole directional coupler. If there are a single hole, then it will be known as a single hole directional coupler, right? The position of hole 1 and hole 2 is separated by an electrical path length lambda g by 4, where lambda g is nothing but your guide wavelength, right? Now, if any signal is traveling from port 1, when the signal is traveling from port 1, then that particular power is known as a Pi, is traveling towards the port number 2, right? Any power is traveling from port number 1 traveling towards the port number 2. When that particular power is received at port number 2 is known as a PR, that means received power. When the power is traveling from port number 1 to port number 2, right? There are the two holes, right? Hole 1 and hole 2. The particular power is sampled by the first hole in this direction as well in this direction, right? And the sum power which is traveling from port number 1 to port number 2 is sampled by hole number 2, right? Now just see the position of power at hole 2. The power is traveling from port number 1 to port number 2 is lambda g by 4 in forward direction. So here the phase of the power will be lambda g by 4, and the electrical path length of the power which is coupling from port number 1 is also traveled by electrical path length of lambda g by 4, because this is the distance which is lambda g by 4. So we can say when these two powers are coming at or meeting at port number 2 or hole number 2, then both powers are combined, right? Because both have the phase of lambda g by 4, or both the power have traveled a same electrical length. That's why we can say both power will be combined at the port number 4 and come out as a power PF, which is known as a forwarded power, right? But when the power is sampled or coupled by port hole number 1, like this one, it has a 0 electrical path length, but the signal which are coupled by the hole number 2, it goes in this direction, and port number 4, it will also coupled to the port number 3. But here we will have to just concentrate the power which is coming from which is traveling from hole number 1 to hole number 2, right? In this direction is traveled by lambda g by 4, this length, right? When is coupled and travels towards the port number 3, then it also travels the lambda g by 4 electrical path length. So the power traveling total electric path length will be equal to the lambda g by 4 in forward direction and lambda g by 4 in backward direction. So total length will be known as a lambda g by 2. When it is known as this is a 0 degree and this is your lambda by 2, that means 180 degree phase shifted, right? It is 0 degree and it is 180 degree. We can say it is a plus, it is a minus. So there is a subtraction of the power when both the signals which are coupled from the hole 1 and hole 2 are meeting at port number 1 or hole number 1, then both the powers being subtracted. Reason being, both the signals are out of phase. That's why we can say the back power have a very small value as compared to the forwarded power, right? So we can say when incident power or power is incident at port number 1 is coupled to the port number 4 and received by the port number 2, and it is isolated by the port number 3. So again, this particular port number 1 and port number 3 will be known as an isolated port, and port number 2 and port number 4 will also be known as a isolated port. So we can say from the directional coupler, left hand side port and right hand side ports both are the isolated port in their respective sides. Respective sides means port number 3 is isolated by port number 1 and port number 2 is isolated by port number 4 in a, and vice versa, right? So the operation of a directional coupler can be summarized or can be easily be described by its scattering parameters, since there are 4 ports, port 1, port 2, port 3, port 4. So there will be a n cross n scattering matrix. That means if there are 4 number of ports, 4 ports, then the order of the matrix will be 4 cross 4. So the simple scattering matrix for this directional coupler will be 4 cross 4. This is S11, S12, S13, S14, S21, S22, S23, S24, S31, S32, S33, S34, S41, S42, S43 and S44, right? Since we have assumed earlier the directional coupler are working in ideal condition, that means all the ports, port 1, port 2, port 3 and port 4 are perfectly matched to the junction impedance. So all the diagonal elements S11, S22, S33, S44 will be 0, right? Now we will apply symmetric property. While we are applying the symmetric property, it is stated that Sij is equal to the Sji. That means S23 will be equal to the S32, S13 is equal to the S31, S24 is equal to the S42, S34 is equal to S43, S41 is equal to S14, etc. Right? Ideally, as we have seen that this is your directional coupler, this is a port 1, this is a port 3, this is a port 2 and this is a port 4. This is a port 1, this is port 3, right? This is a port 2 and this is a port 4. So we can say S13 port are the isolated ports. So we can say S13 and S31 is equal to 0, right? In a similar manner, S24 and S42 will be 0. That means if we will apply any signal at port number 2, then no any signal will come out at port number 4. If any signal is applied at port number 4, then no any signal will come out at port number 2. Then that particular characteristics is known as an isolation, right? So both the ports are isolated ports, so we can easily write S13 is equal to S31 is equal to 0. Similarly, S24, S42 is equal to 0. Clear? Now substituting all these properties in this scattering matrix, this scattering matrix is written as 0, S12, 0, S14, right? That means S11 will be 0, but S13 will be 0 due to the isolation factor, and this is the received power and this is your forwarded power. In a similar manner, S12, S23, this is your received power, this is your forwarded power, and this is your you can say back power are isolated, and this is your due to the matched impedance, right? So this particular scattering matrix is terminated in this scattering matrix. Now further we will apply unitary property. Unitary property of the matrix states that if any matrix is multiplied by their complex conjugate, then we will get identity matrix. So here this is your scattering matrix of the directional coupler. It is just multiplied by the complex conjugate of its scattering matrix. Then we are getting the unitary matrix, right? By solving this matrix, we will get equations. This one, let us say equation first, equation second, and equation number third. And this property is known as a zero property of the matrix. Zero property means if the one row is multiplied by any other row, then the total will be 0, right? So when comparing this equation to this equation, we will get S14 is equal to S23, because S12 will be cancelled out, 1 will be cancelled out. So S14 mod of S14 square minus of mod of S23 square is equal to 0. Mod of S14 square minus of mod of S23 square is equal to 0. By solving this equation, we will get S14 is equal to S23. In a similar manner, if we compare this equation with this equation, we will get this condition, right? Now let us assume that S12 is a real and positive. S12 is real and positive, then we can say S34 will be real and positive. If S34 will be real and positive, so we can say the complex conjugate of S34 will always be real and positive. So this condition will exist. That means S13 is equal to S34 is equal to P, that is real power, and that will also be equal to the complex conjugate of its own, right? Now applying this one into this particular equation, right, we will get P multiplied by S23 star plus S23P. Now take the P common, we will get S23 plus S23 star is equal to 0. Since this is the real power, it will not be 0. This particular term will be 0. Here we are seeing that S23 is equal to the minus of S23 star. That means if we will assume that S23 is equal to the JY, which is imaginary, that means we can say S23 is equal to the minus of S23 star. That means the S23 power will be your imaginary power, right? So we will assume S23 have a value of imaginary, that is nothing but your JQ. Since S23 is equal to S14 is equal to JQ and S12 is equal to S34 is equal to P, right? Where P square plus Q square is equal to 1. Okay? The matrix of the directional coupler we will derive in this. Here we are seeing that in the matrix of directional coupler, all the diagonal elements are 0, which states that all the poles of the directional coupler is ideally matched to the junction impedance, right? Now we are seeing that application of directional coupler. So the directional coupler are used to sample a small amount of power for the measurement purpose, and it is also used to measure the input power, and it is also used to measure the reflected power as well as the standing wave values of the particular device. Thank you. This is all about the directional coupler.